To all my lioness sisters who feel something wild, fierce, and beautiful stirring within them, you are stunning. You were born for this moment. Don't be afraid of your strength, questions, or insights. Awaken, rise up, and dare to realize all you were created to be. Chapter 1. Awaken a Lioness. Nature is made to conspire with spirit to emancipate us. Ralph Waldo Emerson. The year was 1994, and it was a night like any other in that season of my life. I had tumbled into bed later than I should have, after a desperate attempt at putting my house in order. As a pregnant mother of 3 sons, I slept deeply in those days. I would shut my eyes and fall right to sleep, only to be roused by the sound of an alarm, children, or late morning sunlight streaming into my room. But this night, I fell asleep and woke at dawn, shaken to my core. In the pre-dawn hours, I'd experienced a vivid and unusual dream. Actually, to call it a dream makes it sound as though it came to me in the form of sleep or shadow. This imagery did not. I dream regularly, but not at this level of intensity. In my world of sleep, I found myself vibrantly awake. Before me was a scene set in another place and time. I sensed I no longer walked the pathways of earth. I stood in some heavenly realm, a place of illumination without glare. Radiant light was everywhere and appeared to come from everything. There was no mist or shadow, only glorious color. These saturated hues of living color were comprised of shades so concentrated that I am without earthly reference to name them. The pigments were layered and multidimensional. For some reason, I best remember the tones of purple, but not quite our purple, and blue, yet unlike ours. There were no edges, sides, or upper border, yet the backdrop of color enwrapped what it showcased, an elevated platform of flawless, cream-colored stone, and on this platform reclined a golden lioness. She was feline perfection, majestic, powerful, and richly textured. She didn't move, but there was no doubt in my mind that she was alive, far more alive than any earthbound animal I'd seen in motion. Her head was erect but not tense, her forelegs stretched out in front of her, her fur and eyes gleamed golden. Beneath her flawless tawny coat, I could see every curve of her perfectly formed muscles. This stunning, still lioness was far more substantial, vivid, and vibrant than any of the lionesses that now walk our earth. I couldn't help thinking I beheld a heavenly prototype. Etched on the front of the flawless pillar platform were both a word and a Roman numeral, numbers 23. In contrast with this lioness, my form felt transparent, insignificant, and strangely out of place. I felt detached from my body and unaware of being pregnant. I knew I was there to behold and see, to keenly observe, and in doing so, to learn something unrealized. I sensed an urgency to grasp the weight of the imagery. Even though I was alone with the lioness, I felt no alarm or threat. I felt only wide-eyed wonder, as though by seeing, my spirit was being enlarged and connected. I absorbed all I could of what was around me. My focus shifted, and I looked into the eyes of the lioness. As I did, I heard a voice somewhere behind me announce, "With the birth of this son, you will awaken a lioness." In a blur of golden light, majesty, and wonder, it was over. The next thing I knew, it was morning, and I was fully awake. All my senses were in a state of high alert, not out of fear as much as out of shock. What had I just witnessed? As time has passed, I have come to believe our earth is the time-tethered, shadowed form or partial revelation of what is original, timeless, and whole in heaven. Rise up like a lioness. As I lay in the gray of dawn, wide awake, heart racing, and body trembling, I sensed God had sent me this vision of a lioness to reveal something I would have easily missed in the day-to-day. He had my full attention. I was listening with every sense engaged. My room seemed faded and hollow, a stark contrast to the world of color I'd just left. The morning sounds of earth were muffled compared to the clarion voice in the otherworldly place. I paused, afraid to move and lose the last remnants of the vision. I closed my eyes. Yes, it was all there. The lioness, the platform, the inscription, the backdrop, and the voice. Time passed. My heart slowed, my body calmed, and I opened my eyes. Curious about the inscription on the front of the platform, I reached out and drew my Bible into bed with me. I wondered, was there a connection with a literal chapter or verse? If so, what did Numbers 23 hold? As I flipped through the pages, my heart sank when I noted the translator's heading and discovered the passage was an oracle of Balaam. I knew he was an accurate but dishonorable prophet. I read on, not sensing much of anything until I came to verse 19. God is not a man, so he does not lie. He is not human, so he does not change his mind. Has he ever spoken and failed to act? Has he ever promised and not carried it through? Listen, I received a command to bless. God is blessed, and I cannot reverse it. No misfortune is in his plan for Jacob. No trouble is in store for Israel. For the Lord their God is with them. He has been proclaimed their king. God brought them out of Egypt. For them he is as strong as a wild ox. No curse can touch Jacob. No magic has any power against Israel. For now it will be said of Jacob, what wonders God has done for Israel. Numbers 23:19 through 23, New Living Translation.